You know what I was
Thank you so
thinking? You know what I was thinking when I was listening to the audiobook? I was thinking a couple of things. One, perfect for the long Thanksgiving drive to grandma's. Perfect for the long flight to anywhere for Thanksgiving. But I was also thinking, it's an alarming tale, but so soothing to listen to. How did that magical formula come about?
Trying to administer it like a drug, sort of like this will make it go down easy. You know, the audiobook producer, the editor and producers working with this, Scott Sherrod in particular, is a relaxing guy.
He's the greatest guy.
And with every audiobook that I've done, this is the fourth one that I've done now, I always start off reading, and then by the time you get to the end of the 300 whatever pages, you're like into a rhythm and it's fine or whatever. And Scott always does the same thing where he says, it's great, you're totally done, it's awesome. Do you want to do chapter 1 again now? And then I go back and I do chapter 1 again with my new relaxed cadence that it took me the entire book to earn. Because otherwise I would come out of the gate being like, you guys, and it would be very agitating.
I've done 2 with Scott, and what I dream of is, and maybe we can work out this deal with the network, they get Scott to come in here and just talk to us during commercial breaks. Just, hey, Rachel, that was really good. Yeah, I mean, that's just incredibly soothing. Okay.
Yeah.
I
also have with me his entire list of German pronunciation that he gave me for all. I mean, there's a lot of German. There's a bunch of stuff about Nazis in here. So there's all these German words, and I'm like, I know how to spell them because I've been working with printed material all this time. I have no idea how to pronounce any of these things. He made it so easy, so I could speak fake German for all the parts of it that I needed to.
That is the kind of detail.
Yeah.
So you know, I was intrigued because the podcast that covers a lot of the same ground is so mesmerizing and wonderful. And the book has more. And the audiobook has more because we get to hear original source material like Meet the Press from 1880 or something like that, right? That, like way back there. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, the other thing that was, I mean, when you're doing a podcast, right, it's, you know, you have to kind of pick a specific arc. It's one story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And a book is the same thing, but the arc is bigger. And one of the things that I wanted to do in the book that I really didn't even try to do in the podcast was talk about how important and influential and like what a big deal the bad guys were who were involved with this stuff. Like in the podcast, for example, it didn't talk at all about Henry Ford, didn't talk about Charles Lindbergh, didn't really talk very much about Charles Coughlin. But like, I really think it's worth understanding, particularly for the resonance for what it means today, that this was not a fringe movement. These were not guys like hanging out in the parking lot at the dance. These were like the people who were running the country. The most influential people in the country were implicated in some of the worst stuff. And that, to me, helps in terms of thinking about this as kind of an instruction book from the past, because it means that the Americans who fought these guys back in the 30s and 40s, they were up against, you know, the most famous industrialist in the country, the consensus national hero who was more famous than anybody in the country other than the president, the biggest media figure the country has ever had, the biggest political organization the country had at the time. It was the biggest, most connected, most influential forces in American politics and culture, and still the anti-fascists won. And so we should learn what they did.
Yeah, this is a chapter in America's history of fascist outbreaks and fascist kind of collectives that have hopes and dreams that we are now seeing resurface again here.
Well, we saw, I mean, there's no Hitler but Hitler. There's no Nazis but Nazis. Yeah. But there was a time at this, you know, in the lead up to World War II, when we think of, you know, the Nazis were over there and they were bad guys and we were the good guys over here and we went over there and beat them and it was over. This is the story about Americans who not only sided with the Germans in World War II, but in some cases worked for Germany and were trying to impose an American form of Nazism here. And they were surprisingly well connected and influential and far along in their plans. And because they didn't succeed, we have decided that it must have been a fringe thing, but it really wasn't. In the middle of it, it really, really wasn't. And so that, to me, is just, it's electric. Because even though, you know, there will never be bad guys exactly like those bad guys. There'll never be anything like Germany from 1933 to 1945 under Hitler. Still, the idea of fighting fascism, fighting a big, powerful, connected, anti-democratic movement, particularly one that has a big crush on authoritarian dictators in foreign lands. That is something that we have done. And fighting them in the courts, fighting them in journalism, fighting them in activism, institutions like the church and the military and unions and other American institutions standing up and fighting them. It's great stuff. And I do feel like it's an instruction book for us.
Yeah. And if you don't have an incredibly detailed knowledge of American history, which very few people do, some people have knowledge of a certain period, but you get to think, oh, that couldn't happen here, that couldn't happen here. This is one of those books that tells you, oh, it happened here.
Yeah.
It happened here already.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, here are the ways it can happen here again. In your last hour, you did a report, without using the word fascism, about what the Trump plan is for day one of another Trump presidency. And that is fascism.
They want, according to Devlin Barrett and his colleagues at the Washington Post, this new reporting, they want to invoke the Insurrection Act on day one of Trump's second term. What is the Insurrection Act for? That allows you to use the U.S. military on U.S. soil against U.S. civilians. And they want to do it on day one. Well, why do you want to be able to do that on day one? It is not because you have a small d democratic project in mind for this country.
And you will not be surprised that that kind of thinking can happen in America and have followers in America if you read Prequel, Rachel Maddow's new book, which shows you this has been in the American body politic for quite some time now.
It keeps coming up, and it will probably come up again after we beat it this time. But one of the things we can do to beat it this time is to look at the generation that did it before us. They had some good ideas.
The audiobook is right here on this phone, courtesy of Audible, which I get does a great job. And the book is available. Oh, by the way, I mean, I just feel like, millions of people, if you look at what's on your screen right now, here it is, I'll hold it here. Your Christmas shopping's done. Like right here. How many Rachel Maddow fans do you have in the family, in your family? Come on, this does it. You don't have to think. Rachel.
You are very kind, Lawrence.
I'm looking for a bump in the audiobook sales overnight. I'm going to claim that bump was from the show.
I'll cut you in. I don't even know how we do that.
No. I just want to see what the show can do in audiobook sales.
So buy the audiobook. It'll make Lawrence really happy.
There you go. That's the commercial. Yeah. Rachel, thank you very much for joining us. Come back anytime.
Indeed. Thank you, my friend.